Welcome to the Heal Yourself podcast, where we dive deep into all things healing. I'm Denise, a speech language pathologist and a self-love coach for adults and teens.
And I'm Kira, a traditional naturopath and functional nutritionist, and we are here to guide you through the transformative process of healing your body, mind, and soul.
From the latest in functional medicine to nurturing your relationship with yourself, healing trauma, and even transforming your money story, we're here to empower you with the knowledge and tools to create lasting change.
So whether you're looking to heal physically, emotionally, or spiritually, join us as we explore the many paths to wholeness and wellness.
Welcome to another episode of Heal Yourself podcast. We are here today. We were in Arizona for the weekend at Business by Design Live.
Yeah, you said it right.
Live. I'm
I
trying
can
to
see you struggling.
And there were 1,000 entrepreneurs there, lots and lots of amazing speakers, and so many amazing meditations, like so powerful.
Yeah,
I know.
beyond.
And I know, beyond. And you may have seen our story. So we wanted to share some takeaways from that weekend. And we are also going to share some fun stuff that we did and that actually happened at the hotel room. So
Yeah,
Kira, let's begin.
Yeah. So, and guys, we're doing this because we thought, we're totally on the cuff, which sometimes we are anyhow, just being transparent. We want stuff to just come to us. But we both agreed, we're like, let's talk about that because we feel like some of our takeaways would be beneficial for you guys. So, I'm just going to share one of my top takeaways because I had many, but I figure maybe I'll just try to share three. My first one was slow down. And guys, I've been telling myself to slow down for years. My husband's been telling me to slow down for years, but it's like sometimes you don't hear it until you're ready to hear it, you know? And so I've always known it, but at the same time, one of the things I told Denise is like my automatic set, like my default homeostasis for me is to be busy. And we already did an episode on busyness, so go back and listen to that if you haven't. But it's more than just busy. It's like just always doing stuff. And that's the thing in the world of manifestation, which I know we've not even gotten into, but it makes total sense of like,
Side note topics.
I know, right? if my safe place, right? And what I'm saying is how my nervous system responds. I grew up watching people be busy. And so
Yes.
I default to that. So my nervous system thinks that's the safe place, even though it creates more chaos. And so leaning into slowing down is hard as hell. And then through the world of manifestation and laws of attraction, I'm just bringing that shit back to me. Like, oh, okay, you
Absolutely.
cleared some space, but oh, that space feels uncomfortable. So here's 5 more things on your to-do list.
Yeah. I love that you mentioned the nervous system because I also remember the topic. Like with me, I'm not sure. I did have a lot of takeaways, but I'm also going to infuse some of your takeaways with some of the speakers that I really loved. When Dr. Don went over the whole trauma thing and all that, how he described himself growing up, he was adopted and he grew up in a very stable home and his nervous system was regulated from birth until, because he was adopted from birth up until like later on in life. So when things happened, even though, yeah, sure, shit happens in life, absolutely, but it wouldn't take him down a spiral. Whereas his wife grew up in a dysfunctional home, her nervous system was not regulated. So when he would say something and she would like, why are you yelling at me? Or like anybody with like just maybe an authoritative voice. So that was a big eye opener that I grew up in chaotic environment. I mean, I grew up in the war. So my nervous system from birth until 7 obviously was kind of like running around. So that's why I even noticed myself. And I'm going to tell them the scooter situation in a second. I rush. And it's something that makes me feel safe. Because rushing to run away from the war, the bomb, to hide in the shelter, that took you to the safe space, right? So and I just feel like, oh, I rush. So there's, even though I want to slow down so much, I don't feel safe in the slowing down. So even though the takeaway was to slow down, that's a strange and foreign language to me. And
It
I
is.
totally understood that when Dr. Don explained the whole, when he
Hmm.
gave the example of his wife and himself, I was like, shoot, you know. And then, of course, because God has funny ways to show you your takeaways. As we were scootering around Phoenix, Arizona, it was late at night, we were hangry, and Miss Kiara wanted to go to the grocery store. So we scooter, we get those lime scooters, we get there. And then I don't know why we couldn't park or something. So we had to
Yeah, I
park
kept telling
across the
us to
street.
park somewhere. You can't park here. I'm like, what do you mean we can't park here?
I know that was whatever. But anyway, and I'm like, I'm trying to rush because I want you to go get your food. Because to me, it's like, oh my gosh, she needs to eat. And I'm like, Denise, you need to eat too, right?
Yeah.
And I just kicked it to, I can, release the kickstand so we can park over there. And I hit myself. And you saw it was
It's
painful, it was
nasty.
crazy. So that's the rush. And that
Mhm.
is something I was like, wait a minute, you're always rushing. So yeah.
Yeah. And then God's like, here, boom, now you have to slow down.
I know, and you know what? Today I did tell myself that I know that in the world of like, podcasting and things like that, we want to be PC. But to be honest with you, I'm going to be using God because I'm a believer in
Hmm.
God. So some people like to use universe source, etc. It's all up to you.
Yep.
But one of my authenticity is like, why am I hiding or saying call God, universe, etc., etc.? I call it God, and that's okay because if you call it something else, that's okay too.
Yeah.
So that was a big eye opener for me. It's like stop hiding away and being PC and not to upset somebody in this. Because if someone wants to get upset, I have no control over that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what's
100%.
your second takeaway so I can chime in?
You're like, let me chime in on that one too. Letting go of attachment. So I have a story. We did spoon bending, and this was not my first time. Like when they put up the slide and it's like spoon bending 101, I was like, yeah, because I did this. I did this years ago. And for those that don't like have never heard of this, you're not literally just looking at it and using your mind to bend a spoon. There's got to
To be
be some.
honest with you, that's what I thought.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm ready for that, but we didn't do that. But
I
it was
know.
supposed to be gentle pressure. Like you're not forcing, guys. You weren't like indenting your hands to try to bend the spoon. And honestly, I don't think I could have even if I had tried, right? Like whenever I get a spoon, there's skepticism. I'm human. And so I'm trying to
Yeah.
bend it, of course. And I'm like, all right, the damn thing's not bending. So we go into this meditation that's absolutely beautiful. I do meditation and hypnosis all the time, and this one got me. I mean, I was breaking down and I was shaking. That's how powerful
Yeah.
it was. And she had said, like, when you get to the bending of the spoon, you will know when it's time. And even if you don't bend the spoon, the goal of this meditation is to learn how to work with your energy and to harness your power. And me being, like still having patterns of perfectionism and worthiness and all this other crap that floats
Mm-hmm.
around, I was like, I'm going to bend this damn spoon. Well, so we get to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm visualizing it bending like rubber. I'm getting into it and it's not going anywhere. I'm like, son of a bitch, like this is gonna bend. Like I am not walking out of this room without a bent spoon. And so I drop back into it and I start to just hear probably God, but who knows, or my intuition, whatever. Somebody was talking to me and it was like, just trust. Do you trust me? And I was like,
Oh,
no, like I haven't been trusting. That has been a
yeah.
piece. And lo and behold, my spoon starts bending and I bend the whole thing in half. But then I was like, okay, I like kind of snapped out of the meditation. I'm like, no, 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 we're not going to end here. Like, I want to bend the
Yeah.
other side of the spoon. Like, I got to see
Yeah.
this whole thing. And it wasn't happening again. And that's when I started to hear let go. Like, it wasn't just trust, it was let go, let go, let go. And I realized that in my business, because I'm going to be transparent here, in my business, I have not let go of attachment. I am very attached to the outcome of
Mm-hmm.
this business will succeed. I will make it work. And all these stories. And so I just kept hearing, let go, let go. And I eased off. And it's like in that moment, as I eased off, I also heard the trust again. And I heard it is safe and it doesn't matter. So, like, in that moment, I finally realized I don't have to bend the stinking spoon again. Like it doesn't matter. I got the lessons that I needed. And so letting go of attachment can be such a powerful thing for people. And on a healing journey, I know that's painful to hear. It's like, I'm not going to let go. Like, yes, I want to feel better.
Oh,
But
it's
when you,
painful.
yes, but yeah, that's the thing. It's all painful. But like, if you can let go and learn the lessons in that moment and on your journey, I promise you healing is going to get easier.
I'm gonna chime in
Yes.
about because we've talked a lot during the weekend, so a lot of our takeaways are very similar. However, I'm gonna talk about the spoon bending. This is my first time bending a spoon. I literally thought it was like you just visualize it and it's gonna happen. You're not doing anything with your hands. However, I did it. I bent the
Mhm.
spoon. Um, Now I think at the beginning I may have applied some force. I'm like, I'm not supposed to apply some force, and I just went with it. But the second part that I bent, I didn't do force at all.
Mhm.
However, when I saw other people's spoons with the knots, like
Oh
some
my
people
gosh, they were
just knotted
crazy.
it or they did the twisty things, I'm like, this is what I can do. Okay.
Mhm.
I can definitely do that. But then that still means I still have attachments and I still do, right? Because they kind of showed up yesterday. And that's the beauty of, the healing journey is that you commit, you set intentions, but also experiences and opportunities are going to show up to solidify that or to tell you there's still something there,
Mhm.
right? So you mentioned the not forcing, and I want to also say that. And it's a big takeaway that kind of, you know, it's from the weekend, but it also spilled yesterday that not just letting go, the things that are meant for you will come to you no matter what.
Yeah.
If you're on Mars or in on the moon or on planet Earth, they're gonna find you. So that's another piece that I need. Like, don't force things. Just let it go. And you know what I do, right? I contract with school districts, and I did have a contract for an assessment. This was only an assessment that I delivered. Did the report. I delivered the IEP at the end of October. So it was October 30th. And I'm a small business, like I'm getting into the game right now. So I'm just, I follow up with them, and she's like, well, it is 60 days for us to, process payments. I was like, okay, but it was approved by board, et cetera, et cetera. So coming back, I was going to be like, oh, I'm going to email her. What is the status of the invoice? I was like, you know what? No, I'm not going to force it because it's going to come. Where's it going to be? And then I opened the mail and it was here yesterday because I didn't check the mail yesterday, right? So I didn't have to put myself in a situation where to email somebody to force it, because that's what I do. A lot of the things I force,
Mhm.
I want to, like it's the aggressiveness. And I'm like, no, step back, because whatever belongs to me is not going to miss me.
Yeah.
And if it missed me, it's not because it missed me. I missed it. I chose not to open that door, not to look through that window, or not to match the opportunity's frequency, or to allow my ego mind to do that. So letting it go also was another, not forcing and letting go was the, you know,
Yeah.
part
I
of
honestly, I
takeaways.
think that's huge for everyone, like regardless of where they're at. I mean, you can look at your students and even clients in the like self-love workshops you do, and it's the same thing for my clients. It's like always trying to force stuff because we want to have that control. And just like I told you today, and I tell people
Yes.
all the time, we have no control. There are two things in your life you can control: taxes and death. That's it. We will all die and we will all pay taxes. That
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
I
but
mean,
that's
some
it.
people don't.
But you know what I mean.
They have to though, but
But like we can't control our
right.
partners. We can't control our friends. We can't control our kids. We can't control the freaking weather. Like we have no control. So let go. The only thing you control is your actions and behaviors
And your
and thoughts.
reactions. Yeah.
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 Yeah, absolutely. And that's another thing too, Kira. And I'm so glad that yesterday happened. is because, I had all the intentions. I came out of this weekend, with a lot of intentions, but I'm also a human being in a room that I know no soul other than you.
Hmm.
And there's thousands of people. Yes, I'm an extrovert and all that stuff, but I also absorb people's energies. And it was 3 days, 3 long
It was a lot.
days. And the breaks were like, we had breaks, but still, and we were not sleeping, early. We're still waking up early.
Because
So
we
it
were
was just,
talking late at night.
I know, but the thing I know, because we haven't, been together like for that period of time. And since, I mean, we've known each other for a long time, but for
Mhm.
a weekend like this.
Yeah, yeah,
So I just felt like as a human being, you feel overstimulated, you feel overwhelmed. And then instead of like scheduling more time off on Monday, I didn't.
yeah,
And just, and things went piled up on top of each other. And whoa, I blew
yeah.
up. But it was really important that I want to say something that there's something that I used to do, and I did not go there. So I was like, nope, step back. And I was called on my bullshit, and I was like, oh, thank you for calling me on my bullshit. And so I stepped back, and that was a break in the pattern.
Yeah. And so this wasn't a lesson I learned at the event, but it's coming to me right now, so it needs to be addressed. And that is the ability to give yourself grace too. We are human.
You did
And
not just
it's,
say that right now.
I did because here's the thing. I feel like we put so much pressure on ourselves. And like my clients will message me and it's like, well, I haven't been eating great and I haven't been doing this. And I'm like, okay, but what have you been doing well? Well, I've been doing this and I've been doing this and I've been under just a ton of stress, but this isn't going well. I'm like, but look at what is going well. Look at what's going on in your life. Like the goal is not to be perfect. It's to be human and to see the lessons in everything that we're receiving. Like it's okay to be like, you know what? I screwed up. I learned a lesson from it. It's all right.
Yes.
And move on.
Yes, that's what I did that yesterday. I was like, you know the story, but I'm not gonna say the whole story. But I did apologize to my daughter yesterday, and I did tell her, I said, you don't need to forgive me, honestly, right now, because I do understand that. And even though, no, 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 I forgive you, mommy. I was like, you think about it, it's fine. But I mean, things are better, but it's important to say I screwed up. It's important to say, to not point fingers, because guess what? We can. And we can find all the evidence that it's the other
Hmm.
person. It's something that you said. It's something that you said yesterday or whatever. But where's that going to take you? It's not going to take you to healing. It's going to take you to
Yeah.
pile up more shit on top of more
Yep.
shit. So, and I'm sick of the shit.
Yeah. Because
And
ultimately
I
it's your
wanted to say
reaction.
something about the grace, because today, as I was thinking, because yesterday I sat in an IEP, and then for a good 30 minutes, and I'm like, why aren't we starting? I'm like, I. But I realized today, I was like, I don't give others grace because I don't give myself grace. Because high achiever, get it done, Denise, you can get it done, boom, 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 boom. I would have called the parent like right away, 5 minutes. You don't just stay for
Hmm.
30 minutes. But she's not me and I'm not her.
Yeah.
Right. So that the grace piece, and that's why I said you did not say what you said, because I told myself, like, you need to be more graceful with yourself and with others. They're not you. If they want to wait for 30 minutes, waste their time, it is what it is.
Yeah. Maybe for them it was like a much needed break in their day. Who knows? You know what I mean? Like,
Maybe.
and that goes back to interpretations, which we need to do a podcast on
Yes. Oh
that.
my gosh. We need to go back to our podcast episodes to listen to see about what like we said about the topics that we're going to talk about in the future.
I know,
Like,
because
wait
then
a
we
minute.
forget. Yeah. Well, any
Another
other,
takeaway?
those were my big three was trust, let go of attachment, and slow down. I mean, that's
Another
the
one.
thing. There were so many
There's a
takeaways.
lot. There was a lot. Yeah. Like, we're not going to talk business stuff because it's
No.
nothing to do with that. Our podcast is not about it. But another thing really was being present,
Yeah.
to be present. And yesterday I admitted to you I didn't use my tools. The day did not could not sorry, the day would not have ended the way it ended had I taken that break,
Hmm.
had I used my tools, because I have them. So, or had I went back to my presence, to my breath. So it's really, really important. And I know we did an episode on being present, right? So go back to that episode. We did, didn't we?
I don't know.
I think we did. We totally did. While you're talking, I'm gonna look it up, but I know we did about being present in the moment. And the quickest way about coming to the present is breathing.
Yeah.
Paying attention to your breath because we're breathing all the time. I get that. But like truly feeling your breath, grounding yourself with the breath.
And it's such an easy tool. I'm like, guys, it's free. Just pay attention to how
Yeah.
you're
And
breathing
it
in and out.
reminded me we used to ground ourselves. 2 times we recorded without grounding ourselves with our breath. We
We're
always do
slacking.
that.
Yes.
Ay, ay, ay. Okay. Since we're done with the takeaways, we need to tell them about the slide situation.
Okay.
So we go in the room. No, you start, because I want to
Okay,
hear
I
your,
could
your side of
so
the story.
I mean Denise and I shared a hotel room. We had an absolute blast. It was exhausting, but it was such a powerful weekend. But yeah, we get back into the hotel room the last night and we're all excited with our food. And Denise looks down and she's like, "Where's my other?" I'm gonna call it a flip-flop, but it was a slide.
Yeah.
She's like, "Where's
Yeah.
my other shoe?" And I'm like, "I don't know, it's gotta be around here." So we start looking. I'll let you take it from here.
We looked everywhere. We looked everywhere.
I was
And
looking on the ceiling behind the TV. Like at that point, I'm like, where the hell's a shoe?
exactly. So you see one side, but you still see the other side. And I'm like, where the heck is it? There's no way someone is going to steal just one. Why would they steal one? There are other shoes over there. We have our laptops. So we started like,
But wait,
what if
Denise's first thought is maybe they're missing a foot and they just needed that side. I'm like, yes, that's exactly what happened. The maid came in and she only had one leg and she stole your one shoe.
or I was like, oh. But anyway, as we're sitting down, and then we call the front desk and everything. This is a funny situation. I don't even know how to explain it, but I had to explain it. And I bet you that like that woman is weird. So anyway, and then so we're sitting in bed, and I'm like, what could have possibly happened to it? And I mean, I was like, oh, maybe they swept it, but then no, they can't
I'm
sweep
like, they're
something
gonna
and not
notice if they
see it.
swept up a whole shoe and it's not
Right,
gonna go in a
right.
vacuum.
No, we're not going to go to vacuum. So we're sitting down in bed, and I don't know, we're literally talking about something completely different. And I look at Kira and I was like, so an image came in my mind, and then I was like, oh, the towel. And then I was like, so what came in my mind was an image of cleaning. I have no idea how that image came. We were not even talking about cleaning.
No.
And then it came in the image, and I realized that in the morning after I took a shower, I left the towel on the floor, so it must have been on top of the slides. And then when the housekeeper or the hotel, what do you call them? The
Cleaner,
hotel
I don't know.
staff, cleaners, whatever. I want to call them the right way because it's not a house. But anywho, so she must have, picked up the slide because those are really light on her way with the towel. So I called them again. I'm like, maybe it's in your laundry. But anyway, long story short, I came back to California with just one because they said that if they find it, they'll mail it to me. So I'm just hoping I'm going to wait a month before I throw the other one away because I cannot just wear one
You
size.
can
Oh,
if
you
your
know what
other
I can
leg.
do? I know, huh? Well, I can buy another and then wear different colors, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
But this also solidified something that it took me a while to understand because you and I read the book, Anita Moorjani's book, Dying to Be Me, and Wayne Dyer talks about it. And I think we even heard it at the conference as well about the multiverse or like the parallel
Mhm.
realities. I was like, maybe how did that picture come in my head? Maybe it could have been something from the other side.
Yeah,
So
I think so.
yeah. I think this is it. Oh, I
Yeah.
did find the episode, by the way. It's the power of the present moment was episode 6.
Oh, see, I've already forgotten our episodes.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, guys, we hope you took something away from this. As always, we appreciate reviews, stars, feedback. Message us on our Instagram. Tell us what you want us to talk about. And we will see you on the next episode.